there's no variation in the wave. I mean, if you, what is it, something like on an oscilloscope?
Yeah, no, that's what it is. You do vary the wave.
Yeah, but I mean, from what it is, the wave is constant. Like this light wave right in through here is always constant, never varies.
No, it is constant, you're right. Let me see. I thought I gave you something that shows that. No, I probably didn't bring it. But if you look at the color chart there,
Yeah.
okay, in the visual spectrum, the reason you have visual is because the eyes, the energy that comes to the eye is called a photon. So you can have energy in terms of different heat, in different methods and so on. But the eye sees it in that wavelength. The one down here is going to be, well, they've got nanometers. Okay, so here's, well, it starts in the chart here: 400, 500, 600, and 700. That's the wavelength, how long it is. Okay, and in this case, it's nanometers, very, very short. It's not a meter, right? In ham radio, you have 1 meter band. So it's up here.
Well,
explain it?
I think so. What's the relationship between this and an oscilloscope? I mean, would you use an oscilloscope in this situation?
Sure. This is what your next month's class is going to be.
Oh, okay,
You
sorry.
ask for multimeters. So
Okay.
in there, we'll probably talk oscilloscope. So
Okay.
oscilloscope is one kind of meter. Okay. Oscilloscope frequently is a round thing like this. Okay.
Yeah.
And on that, you're going to see your sine wave. Okay.
Yeah.
Like so. And that's what an oscilloscope is.
Okay.
It's going to measure all this for you.
Okay.
Okay. So now you can measure how high that is. You can measure how many milliseconds this is. And we can relate that maybe next month to an EKG. I'll show you how an EKG is used by a doctor to determine if you're having problems or not. But basically an EKG, not the printed version, but what they see on the screen is nothing but an oscilloscope.
Okay.
So an oscilloscope is nothing but a TV set in essence. It comes right up to it. They're just putting different kind of data on there, so on. So all depends on the software behind it.
Okay.
Does that answer your question?
Yeah, I think so. I wasn't too sure what the question was in the first place, but.
So anyway, we're flying now, and now we got cameras on this thing. Okay? And we want to see something. Okay? You can call it an oscilloscope, you can call it a monitor, or whatever you want. But anyway, first of all, this is your camera. Okay? They're very, very tiny. It's kind of unbelievable to me, having worked with cameras when they were this big. And that's kind of the same camera that we have in our iPhones, the same camera that we had with the Raspberry Pi. It's got a lens cover on it. The only difference is this one has got an antenna on it, okay? And therefore, you're going to need what? A transmitter. So you have to connect it to a transmitter, and you can buy transmitters, okay? And when you have a transmitter, if you want to use it, then you have to have a receiver. So just like your radio in your house or TV, some TV station transmitting it, they have a camera, and then you're receiving it on your computer or the thing in your house. One thing we should talk about a little bit is the antenna. I'm going to show you some devices in a minute that have these kind of antennas. Maybe you all remember it. I used to have a whip antenna that was 6 foot high, I guess. They would whip around. That's why they call them whip antenna. They're called dipoles antenna. So they're like this here. So a lot of these devices will have a dipole antenna on them. And the dipole sends a signal from here to there. The problem is, when your drone, this is your receiver, when your drone goes like this, you're gonna get a little bit of signal on it. Okay? So, like this, it's gonna get lots of signal. The further off from there it gets, the less it is. And that's why they go to other kind of antennas. This is called a clover leaf. You see, it's got 1, 2, it goes like a clover leaf. So no matter where that drone goes around like this, you're always going to be getting a good signal back at the other end. So that's fairly important in the drones. It's not so much in your car, because your car doesn't go up and down, doesn't tip around and so on. So the dipole antennas are so very, very helpful. Now, we've talked everything about here about the drone flying, what it's going to do, and so on. So, but the bottom line is, it ain't going to fly without what? Without me. I've got to control that drone. Okay. So, we talked about kits. Let me show you a kit. The kit that I showed you there was built last Sunday by Ron and well, that's your kit. So everything that we talked about, let me put it here so I can see it, is there. You've got your motors, right? 4 motors. You've got your propellers in this little box. Okay? You've got all these things I'm telling you about. On an airplane, you would cover that. You'd have what?
Where's the camera?
Your fuselage. This one doesn't have a camera.
Where you put the battery?
I can put a camera on.
Is the battery in there already?
Pardon?
Is the battery in there?
Yeah, battery's in there. Right there.
Oh, it's over above the board.
Yeah. Everything's in there. Battery, flight controller. And this one didn't fly, by the way. Roy's got pictures of it flying.
So how many minutes of flying time does that have?
Not very many. That's where they recommend highly.
Can we fly in here?
Huh?
Can we fly inside here?
Yeah. These you can fly indoors. Some are indoors, some are indoor outdoors. Some of them are just outdoors.
So where, this is the battery, this portion right here? That black thing?
Sure.
There's a battery.
Yeah,
You
the
held up.
battery's coming out of here, see, coming out.
They recharge.
Here, let me show you, if you want to see the battery. Here are the motors.
Are they similar to the hearing aid batteries?
No, no,
It's a flat one, but
They are rechargeable, aren't they?
yeah, it is
He
different.
said it's an LIPO.
there. Battery.
Yeah, I know, that's what's,
these are
that's
like-
a pretty good sized battery.
But this, not for this one, this is for a different one. This is bigger. But they're all there. This is actually this kit here. So, there's your battery.
Does it come with the instructions so you can just follow the instructions? Does the kit come with the instructions so you just follow the instructions or?
If you read Chinese, do you read Chinese? One of my colleagues that helped me a lot in this, he's a computer program and so on, but he's been in ham radio operating for years, and I gave him the manual, and he says, I had no problem with it. He said, the problem we have is one is so small. Where's this stuff? Screw, it's
Yeah.
only that big, he said, because it's miniaturized, it's small. But he said I had a problem with it. Roy, how do you say it? Spanglish is what?
Spanish, English.
Spanish and English. Chinglish, he called it, CHI English. So, all that means is their grammar is not very good. And sometimes if grammar isn't too good, you could have two meanings to a sentence. So I can show you their book, so on. So basically, he doesn't like it, but I do. Most of these people in China will make it. Almost everything we're talking about comes from China for some reason. Put up videos on YouTube. So I am a visual learner, so I learn very well from a video. Reading 10 pages in the book is hard for me, for whatever reason. If you give me that lecture on a video like this here we're doing here, I can learn a lot. If I have to read 10 pages, I'll probably learn 10% of what I want to deal with. So, but their videos are very good. So you can go to YouTube and find the videos. This is the power plant. The whole thing ain't gonna work if you can't control it. Okay? So they come with radio controllers. Okay, and as I said, you've got 6 axes to control. You've got 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay.
Yeah.
That's 8.
Yeah,
That's 8. But they fly between, because when you put it here, it's 0 or 100. So that's only 1. Okay. On a computer, that would be 0 to 255, which we've talked before, the binary and the different coding systems and so on. So anyway, this one makes it go up and down. So you start here. This is where they crash. This is extremely touchy.
sensitive.
So usually, if they have a meter here, they'll tell you what the percent is. So you might start looking at the percent, because if you put it up to 100, it's going to, these things go fast. It's amazing how fast these motors go, and so on. And then this one, okay, see, this one is spring loaded. Okay, so that gives you a little bit more control. Flick it, comes back. This one, it stays there. When you say go, it goes. You know? And it, depending on what they call latency, how quick that signal is going to get to that thing, and it's going to react. For example, if you're going into that wall, you say, well, I want to stop it. Well, you go back, but it didn't get the signal until it hit the wall. So that's where they're recommending that number one, you can connect this to a second one. And just like learning to drive a car or fly an airplane, you have a pilot and co-pilot, you can have a second guy here with the second one. And if he sees that you're going to hit the wall, he can take control back over. So they're called trainers.
Do they have any programs where you can learn to use this on a TV?
I was going to show that next week. It should be here
In other words,
Thursday.
you learn before you get the actual thing.
They recommend that. We did not do that.
Oh, okay. So I got a flight simulator at home,
It's a matter of always how many books can you buy to learn what you need to do. No one book answers all your questions. So anyway, I got this book after buying 4 or 5 books, several drones and so on. And in chapter 1, somewhere in the early chapter, it tells you, don't fly until you get a, they call it flight simulator.
Yeah.
You can fly airplanes with the radio control airplanes and drones too. But anyway.
I know I crashed the airplane several times. That's true.
And you're going to, drones are notorious for crashing. So. But anyway, as I said, you can connect this to the computer.
Yeah.
So you're flying the drone just like you'll be able to see and you'll be able to maneuver it and so on, but you'll be doing it for real, but not in the air. It's still on your TV set. So I just ordered that and it'll be here, I think, Wednesday or Thursday. So
That'd be a good thing, you get the feel of it before you actually go out and screw up.
well, yeah. So we, when we started in this, I didn't have anybody to help us. We were out there scratching, trying to get information and so on. And the more we scratched, the more we started learning who these people are, but they're hiding in society. They don't advertise in the newspaper, the flight club's been there, and most of them are not, they're still into the airplanes. They're not in a drone. So we happen to find the right guy that can help us in drones, and happen to find the right guy in Copper's Cove that can help us with the electronics part and so on. So anyway, that flight controller came with the kit. So these come as a kit. You buy the kit. So, however, there are other flight controllers out there, and some that are better than others. Get this out of here. Okay. As you go up the line in the flight controllers, you see the two of them. This one has a screen. This one doesn't. Okay. However, if you have the visual data, one thing I forgot to say, on your drone here, you can put a, I can't think what to call it, OSD, where on the flight controller, where it will send the data back to you. Like on your phone, you can tell how much power your battery's got, you can tell all kinds of things. You can send that back to something like this here.
He keeps UPS busy.
So it's like a TV set.